Welcome, everyone. That little situation I had just a second ago, for those of you who were on before we started the recording, was perfect for get to know your guides, because my headset, something happened to my headset and it wasn't working, and I was kind of getting flustered before this webinar even started, and then I remembered, okay, I need to ask my guides to help me with this. So we had a couple things that we tried, and then I found my old headset, which is going to work just fine for today. So welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you took the time in your day to be here with us. I know that the impact of being able to connect with your guides and ask for help is so huge in our lives in so many ways if you take the time to do so. So I know that what you get in this hour will definitely impact you in big ways in other areas of your life. That being said, not everything that I say is going to resonate with you. Possibly it will, but possibly not. And so I just want to invite you to take what sounds great and what feels good in your body, practices and exercises that you can do in your daily life, and that which does not resonate with you, it's not yours to carry, you can just let it go. If you get even one thing out of our call today, I know it's going to have a big impact to support you in your journey to your fulfillment and your greatest joy. So let's take a moment to just take a few deep breaths. If you're on your lunch break, or you rushed here, or you've got a ton of things to do after this call, let's just give ourselves permission to take this hour and just be free from anything outside of our call. So being really present in the moment, and this present space of clarity is where we can really connect with our guides. And I'll talk about that a bit later, but when we are really calm and centered, it's a really clear place to receive messages and also to connect and ask for what you need support with. So we're just going to use our breath as the tool to bring us into the present. So taking a breath in, noticing how deep your breath goes in your body. You may want to close your eyes for this. Just seeing, does your breath reach your belly? Does your breath go deeper? Does it go as deep as your pelvic floor or your hips? Noticing how it rolls in and out of your body like waves rolling up onto a beach. And then noticing how wide your breath goes as it travels into your body. Does it fill your rib cage? Is it as wide as your shoulder?
Meeting room locked.
Is it as wide as your hips? And then taking one last moment to send breath to any part of your body that is holding tension, any part of your body that needs a little extra love and care. Taking a couple breaths and sending it to that part of the body. Excellent. Great, everyone. So I want to start our call today by just going over a couple reasons why we connect with our guides. Why bother? We have these unseen beings who are around us and who are ready to serve us, but what good is it for us to connect with them? What benefit is this relationship? So one great example that I had yesterday was they can help to show you when you're going off track. So I set this intention in the morning to be really present and just not to be in my mind, you know, with all of these thoughts that go through our heads all day long. I really wanted to spend a full day in presence. And so with all the things that you have to do in your life, with that I have to do in my business, in life, relationship, there's so many things that can shoot through our mind during the day, and it actually brings us out of the present moment. And the thing about leaving the present moment is our power is actually in the present moment. When we're physically present and we're aware of what's going on, we're aware of our presence and presently aware, that's when we can access our full power, which I talk a lot about in the work I do with women, is connecting to our power, our ability to create the life of our dreams. That same power that gives us the ability to create a child if we're physically able to. Some women are not able to have children. However, we also create businesses or projects. Our desires and our dreams are literally gestating and growing in that sacred part of our body, that same place where we nourish and grow human beings and bring life in that way. So that's the power that I'm talking about, the power to create. So when we're in the present, we have access to our full power to create. So what happened was I drifted, I was lost in thought. I don't know how long I was there. I was walking around and doing dishes and doing little tasks in my house, but I was on autopilot. I totally left the present moment, and now I am lost in my mind somewhere in thought. And so I have a candle holder on my toilet, and it just flew off the toilet. And usually guys will be much more subtle than that, but because I have the relationship that I do with my guys that have evolved over the years, they know that I can handle that and that it wouldn't scare me and that I know they're trying to get my attention. So this candle holder flew across the bathroom. The candle, went flying, and I just laughed because they were showing me, you're gone. You're totally far off from what your intention was today, and we're going to help you come back into the present moment. And if you ever, bang your knee or bang your head or something like that, it's often our guides trying to help us come back to the present and to be grounded. So that's maybe an extreme example, but I just laughed yesterday. I thought it was so great. Perfect for our call today. So that's one thing. So when you're going off track from your intention, they can help you come back to what you've declared you want to do. They can also assist you in helping your life purpose unfold. So whether it's connecting with potential clients or collaborators or, the love of your life, or if you need help making a decision, they can give you the signs of what the next step is. So here's another example. This is back early at the very beginning of this year. I was planning a women's retreat, and I wasn't sure where I was going to hold it, but I was planning for West Africa. And I put it out to my guides, please show me the signs and help me to see with clarity where I should hold this retreat for the highest and greatest good. And I've kind of led my life this way, so I'm very open to trust the messages that come. So in the next 2 weeks, 3 different people in different places told me about Blue Spirit Retreat Center in Costa Rica. So my coach in LA said, have you ever heard of Blue Spirit Retreat Center? Then I had a friend in New York say, have you ever heard of Blue Spirit Retreat Center? Then I went to a Diva Premal concert. She's kind of a famous yogini singer. And that's where they were doing their retreat. They had these gorgeous postcards, and lo and behold, their retreat is at Blue Spirit Retreat Center. And I had been thinking of West Africa, but I trusted. I got 3 clear signs within a span of 2 weeks. So I said, okay, this is the place to do the retreat. So I got on the phone with Blue Spirit, and of course our Wild Sacred Sexy retreat is happening in Costa Rica in April of next year. So that unfolded perfectly. And with what's going on in West Africa right now with Ebola and borders shut down, it just would have flopped. It would have never worked, and anything I had invested would have been lost. So this is the power of asking for guidance, is that things that we can't tell might unfold, our guides have an understanding of what's going to work out for us. So that's another reason to connect with your guides. One final reason is for protection. And I'm not even talking about violence, although maybe in some situations you may want to ask for that kind of protection, or you may need that kind of protection. But just energetic protection from, if you're going on the bus or the subway, or you're even going to a party, and we all have our energies around us, in our aura or in our field of energy around our body, whether we have a friend who's going through a really rough time. If you've ever had this experience where one of your friends is having a really rough time, you sit with your friend for a few hours or a day, and you leave feeling really shitty, or really low, or really negative or low yourself, or not negative, but just troubled or not energized. So what happens is people connect to our light, to our energy. If they need it, they kind of latch on and draw from our light. If we're not kind of keeping, I call it a filter. Often people will call it a shield, but the way I imagine a filter is that it allows love to come in and love to come out. So the same way if we're having a really, frustrating day, that goes through the filter and it just kind of dissolves. It doesn't go out and impact other people. So our guides can help us have this shield or this filter of protection if you just call on them and ask them for it. So those are a few reasons to connect with your guides, and it's so amazing if you can take 5 minutes every day and do it. So I'd love to share another story about protection before we move into a guided visualization, where you'll get the chance to connect with one of your guides or possibly more who want to reveal themselves to you and bring you a message. So when I was on tour in Ethiopia, some of you may know I had a career in African dance, and I toured across Canada and different parts of the world with African pop stars and, renowned theater playwrights. And so one of my tours was in Ethiopia. And we were flying up to the north. We had a break, and so we were going to fly up to the north to Lalibela to visit some of these really ancient churches that are literally carved into the mountain. So when we arrived at the Lalibela airport, we had made reservations at this one particular kind of, if you can call it a bed and breakfast, it's a place to stay. And the way tourism works up there is very different, maybe more like a large hut. But this was our place to stay, and it had a second-story floor where you could go up and look at the town, and you had this great vista. And it had an Italian name, and my tour manager was Italian, and she had her heart set on staying at this place. And so the men, we had made our reservations, and the men had come to pick us up and to try and get other tourists to stay with them as well. And I just had a sinking feeling in my stomach, and I thought, I don't want to get in this van. Something is telling me not to get in the van. And one of the other dancers also said, something doesn't feel right. I don't think we should go with them. I'm not sure what. And so this turned into a bit of a battle with our tour manager, because she had her heart set, and she was, the leader of the team, and her heart was set on having us stay at this place. So we sat there for like 30 minutes, and I had previously been in a car accident when I hadn't felt that feeling. So I've already learned to trust this pit in my stomach when I get it. And so I just refused, and the other dancer did as well. And finally, we were able to convince our tour manager to stay at another place. We had been talking with a lovely couple on the airplane the whole way, and they said, come with us. We've made reservations. I think you'll really like it. And so we ended up going with them in their van to their hotel. So these people who we had first booked with, they were two young guys, and they raced ahead of us in their van. And the roads are winding up a mountain. They're very narrow roads, looks like a single lane. Somehow two cars pass. And it had just started to rain, and it hadn't rained for like 5 or 6 months. It was the dry season. So this was the first rain. And of course, all the oil and the gasoline and whatever was on the roads made the roads very slippery. So we are arriving near to the top of the mountain to Lalibela, and we see probably about 40 people on the side of this cliff, and they have their hands in their heads, and they're screaming and they're wailing, and there's people who are going down the cliff, down the mountain. And so these two guys were, speeding past everyone, going too fast, and the van actually went over the cliff, and both men in the van died. One of my dancer friends was a paramedic, so she tried to go and help, and they were dragging these bodies up the mountain, and it was just terrible. But we had that feeling, and our guide who picked us up, who we ended up going with to stay at his place, really was in touch with angels. And a lot of the churches have large paintings of these archangels, these ancient churches. And he was telling us, he said, when we went into a church later that day, he said, it was Archangel Raphael who helped you make this decision. I saw him around you, and he was protecting you. And so it was a really powerful, moving experience, because I wasn't sure that I even believed in angels at that point in my life. This was years ago. I didn't know if they were real or not, but something hit me deep, and I just started bawling. So that's some of the things that our guides do around us to protect us. And if you've had any, miracles in your life, it's a good chance that you have your unseen team who's helping with you even before you started this relationship. So that's my story. Let's get into our guided visualization. So if you have any water to drink, whatever you need to make yourself comfortable, find a comfortable position. We'll be here between 5 to 10 minutes, probably about 7 minutes. So again, coming back to your breath and just beginning to come back into the present moment, into your body. And allow yourself to imagine that there is a beautiful sphere of white light that's above your head. And this sphere of light is going to come down over your head, and as it does, it just helps any tension to release as this beautiful ball of white light moves down your neck, your shoulders. It just washes away any tension and allows you to release and relax. Imagine this beautiful sphere of white light coming down your arms, your torso, your legs, your hips, down to your knees, allowing the body to release and relax. And it comes down your shins and your calves, your ankles and your feet, drawing any tension or worry or stress down, draining out of your feet as an offering to Mother Earth to be recycled, transformed, transmutated into new life energy. And just giving yourself permission to see what you see, feel what you feel. If you don't see anything, that's just fine. Just try to notice what you're feeling. You may see a color. Everyone's different. And so knowing that whatever experience you have is perfect for you. Imagining now that you're walking down a path. This path may be lined with trees. It may be near the beach. It may be in a meadow. But you're walking down a beautiful path that's leading towards a very safe and sacred garden that is your sacred space. As you're walking, noticing if you hear the sounds of birds, noticing if there are butterflies or flowers, noticing the temperature of the air on your skin, and noticing that you're approaching a gate that is the entrance to your sacred garden. And at the gate, there's a beautiful helper who keeps safeguard of your sacred garden, and you share your name, and the gate opens, and you start to enter your garden. You notice what the ground is like beneath your feet. Is it soft or hard? Is it cobblestone, grass, sand? And you're going to find a tree. Somewhere in your garden is a tree that is just the perfect spot for you to be able to have a meeting place with one or more of your guides. As you wander through, noticing if you have a palm tree, some sort of carnivorous tree, maybe it's a rose tree, maybe it's a birch tree. Noticing what kind of tree is really calling to you. And once you've found your tree, you're actually going to make yourself comfortable. If you want to sit, you can sit. If you feel to stand or kneel, you make yourself comfortable and you feel that someone is approaching. And you get a sense of excitement in your body because you know that you're about to meet one of your guides. You feel the presence coming closer and closer, and you might even hear the sound of footsteps, or it could be an animal. You might hear the sound of the rustle of leaves, and you know that there's no need to be scared, because only those who are coming from the highest of high vibration to support you can enter your sacred garden. Now, the being who is making the sounds comes into full view, and you start to get a sense of one of your guides. And even if you can't quite see anything or feel, you take this moment to welcome your guides in the highest of high vibrations to connect with you in this moment. And you study as you greet this guide. What is this being wearing? Is it an animal? Is it a person? Is it an angel? You greet them however feels appropriate. And then you begin to have a conversation. And you first ask, what is important for me to know right now? Next, you ask, how can you help me? you will notice that your guide has a gift for you. And so they either place in front of you a small package or they put something small in your hand. And even if you can't see anything, use your imagination and whatever the first thing that comes to your mind is the gift that you are being given. Perhaps it's a feather or a crystal or even a word engraved on a stone. So as you open your gift, you take note of what this object is and then trying to get a sense of what it's for. And if you don't know what it's for, you can always ask this being in front of you, what is this gift for? And you can place the gift anywhere that you want. In this space, you can actually carry it in your heart chakra, in your sacral chakra, in any part of your body that needs a little extra support. You may put it in your pocket. And if there's any other question you have to ask your guide, take a moment to ask now, also knowing that you have established a connection of communication that you can always come back to. When you are ready, you can say goodbye to your guide however feels appropriate, knowing that you can connect with them at any time. You begin to walk back down the path to the gate, feeling a new sense of support, joy, gratitude, and power. And as you leave, walking through the gate, you say goodbye to the guardian who keeps your garden safe. And you begin to bring your awareness back to your physical body, keeping your eyes closed, just beginning to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, deepening your breath, knowing that when you open your eyes, it's going to feel like they've been bathed in crystal clear, clean spring waters, feeling nourished and energized. As I count down from 3 to 1, you will open your eyes. 3, feeling relaxed. 2, bringing full awareness to the body. And 1, opening your eyes, taking a nice stretch and smile. If anyone would like to type in the chat box what your gift was, or if you want to share a little bit about your journey, you can actually just type in share to the chat box and we'll open the mic to hear a little bit about your journey. As you're just coming back to this present space and time, taking some water, making yourself comfortable again, knowing that whatever you need to remember, you will. I wrote a poem for you actually yesterday that's about the feeling that I get knowing that I have this amazing team. And I actually wrote a blog post a couple of weeks ago talking about how I was coming out of the closet. So my coming out of the closet was sharing that I have the ability to see guides and angels, spirit totem animals, goddesses, deities, all of these beings of the unseen world who I didn't even believe in until a few years ago when I started seeing them. And I had that gift when I was a child. I could see spirits and it terrified me. And so as fear does often do to us, it shut down my gift. So this poem talks about the feeling of being supported. Open to the supportive, universal love. Feel the love flow through your body like waves on the sea. Feel me course down your neck, waterfall of peace. Eternally supported by the fabric of love. So I've had different experiences throughout my life, especially in the past few years now that I can really hear these beings with clarity and see them. It overwhelms me with joy and this feeling of not being alone in my journey and whatever struggles or challenges I have. I have my community and it's beautiful, but to actually know that there are these beings who have dedicated themselves to supporting us and that they're doing everything they can to help is just such a blissful feeling for me. And I actually have, been doing this work with my clients, with women that I work with, and I find they get a great sense of joy from now knowing their team. One of the women I work with actually sent in a testimonial to share today, which was, connecting with my guides was the coolest thing ever. It helped me understand that I'm not alone, that somebody always has my back. Now I'm confident to call upon my unseen team, and I do it on a daily basis to help me with whatever I need help with, big or small. Things that used to take more effort to accomplish to get done happen now with greater ease. I find myself randomly smiling because I feel an inner peace knowing that I'm not alone. And that was Karen Bowman who shared that and was happy for us to know that it was her. So that's just to say that if you can make it a daily practice, do it. It's so, so worth it as you evolve these relationships, even if at first you don't see or hear anything. So one of the key things in your practice, if you're going to be connecting every day or even every other day, you can even start with once a week if you want to, is to be able to first connect. So you set the intention and you can say it out loud. I welcome my guides and guardians, helpers and healers, angels and archangels, spirit totem animals. You can say whatever you want. Guides and guardians is enough. You can say I welcome my angels is enough. You can say I welcome my ancestors. And when you invite your guides who are coming for your highest and greatest good. So you can even say, I invite my unseen team who are working for my highest and greatest good to be with me now. So you call them in. So that's part one of the practice of connecting with your guides. Now, the second thing that you can do is create a system of communication. So, we have I didn't look at the chat box, but I just want to take a break to share some of these beautiful gifts. And then I'm going to go back to creating a system because these gifts that you got also relate to that. My angel gave me a beautiful large silver heart locket. My guide gifted me with a silver brooch of a dragonfly. A yellow-orange stonish heart. I was gifted with a large golden key. So these are all really wonderful gifts that you can come back to also. Now that you've been given this gift, work with it. Think of your stone heart before you go to bed. Think of the key, like before you go into the dream world. Think of that silver gift you got. Connect with the gift and then go into your sleep. and call upon it whenever you want or need. Okay, so I'm going to backtrack now and talk about your daily ritual with connecting with your guides. So you call them all in, and then after you've welcomed them in, you can actually establish something that you'll find, some way that they're going to show you that they're there. So I like to use feathers. I ask my guides, to show me when I'm on the right path by placing a feather. So sometimes I find feathers when I'm walking and I'm thinking a particular thought, ooh, I'd really like to do this with my business, or ooh, I think I'd like to try a different retreat in Bali. And then I see a feather, and that is my affirmation. So that's how when you begin to work with signs and symbols in the communication with your guides, you can establish that maybe you find a coin on the ground, it could be a feather, perhaps it's a certain song on the radio that when you hear that song, they're coming through and giving you affirmation. You can set it up however you want, and so call in your guides and then ask your guides, show me that I'm on the right path with a feather, or with this song, or with wind chimes, whatever that is. So that's part 2 of your first connecting ritual with them. And if you're already connecting with them and you simply haven't established this material way of knowing that they're there, then you can do that. And I always feel really great when I get that message from them. You can ask for support with anything. And, I use it for everything. For example, with the webinar today, with my headphones that were stuck on mute, and I couldn't get off mute, it was perfect because I was getting flustered, and then I asked my guides for support, and they just showed me where to find my headphones. And apparently the videos just come out a little bit, so that's okay. We're going to keep going. That's funny. All of these interesting technological things are happening as I'm talking about the guides, and it can actually be the power as well of calling all of our guides here. It's a powerful thing, and it can shake technology sometimes. So yeah, you've called them in, you've established one way that they can connect with you throughout the days. Let's all ask our guides actually to help us with the audio visual. So I'm asking my guides now to help me to reconnect with the visual part of our webinar, but if not, it's okay too. So, okay, so you can use you can ask your guides for help with intentions. So if you're setting intentions on the new moon, call in your guides and ask them to support you with your intentions. If you are looking for your car keys, ask them to help you find your keys. I'm just hoping you can still hear me. I do this all the time. Angels, please help me find my keys. Please help me reestablish the video on this webinar. You can ask for help for them to, show you a recipe that will be easy to use tonight for cooking. So that's one of the ways that you can use that connection with your guides. You can also use cards. So I'm just going to list out a few different tools that you can use while working with your guides every day. And if you have a journal, you can write them down. And what I'll do is I will also send them in the replay. So everyone's going to get an email of the replay. And I'm going to send this list out to you so that if you don't have a journal, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to write it now. I'll list all the little ways you can work with your guides. So the next one is using oracle cards. So for anyone who has a deck of angel cards or goddess cards, or perhaps they're tarot cards, when you're using cards, you want to first take out your deck, and then you're going to shuffle them and send your light through your hands into the cards. So you're imagining you're sending your light into your hands. And then you're going to welcome your guides. So again, I welcome my guides and guardians, helpers and healers, spirit totem animals, ancestors, gods, goddess, and deities, all of those beings. You can welcome Mother Earth. You can welcome any being who you feel is supporting you, spirit totem animals. So you welcome your guides who are coming to support you for your highest and greatest good. And then you think of a question you have when you're going through your cards. And your question might just be, what do I need to know today? Or what is my counsel for today? And so that will now give you a focus with the answer that you pull with the card. So you pull a card, and it's unbelievable. I love starting to do this kind of work with women who have never used cards before, and they start using them, and they go, I can't believe how bang on this message is. This was the exact wisdom that I needed to hear. And you can pull 3 cards if you feel drawn to. So using your intuition is another part of working with your guides. It's not an intellectual thing. It's really about feeling in the body what's right for you. So I'll give you one more tip on how you can work with your guides. And then if anyone has questions after that, feel free to type your question into the chat box, and we'll have a chance to ask your question. So another way that you can work with your guides, besides, calling them in when you're setting intention and asking them to support you with your intention, is to ask them to help you perhaps in relationship with someone else. So if you find that you're struggling in relationship with, let's say, your boss or your life partner or your child, ask your guides to show you the path of peace, or to show me what I need to know, or to help me, find the strength, or to help me have the peace, or help me come at this situation from a place of peace and not ego, or help me to see what I need to know or what I need to learn about this situation. And so then messages will also, you'll notice, come through friends and family members and songs on the radio. So when you're setting your intentions and asking for support to pull in, the next 5 clients, help me to know which networking event to go to next, where I can meet the women who I'm meant to serve for their highest and greatest good. Anything. I can't stress enough. Anything you need help with, you ask. And the one thing I would highly recommend is whenever you ask for support with anything, and I will type this out in the replay that you get sent, always ask that it be for your highest and greatest good. Because sometimes we ask for things and it's not necessarily for our good, but we've asked for it. And so these beings are really in service to us. That's their beautiful gift, is to serve us. And so, I could have asked, angels, help support me create this trip to Guinea. This retreat to Guinea, and they would have helped to line things up, but it wasn't for the highest and greatest good to have the retreat in that place. So I always ask, and I love to use the word reveal as well. Angels, guides, please reveal where the best place for my highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest good of the women is to run this retreat. Or angels, help me connect with the women or people who I can best serve for their highest and greatest good and mine. So always adding that so that because we can't always see what is for our best. We may think certain things is the best thing, and for anyone who's been in a relationship that's gone downhill, but you didn't see it until later, sometimes we can't see what's actually best for us. And so it's so key, because our words are powerful, our words are like casting spells, our words are like magic. We can't see who or what is best for us. Sometimes we can, but sometimes we need help. So that's kind of my final tip out of that list of connecting with your guides, is to Always ask that it be for the highest and greatest good. So if anyone has any questions, please type them into the chat box. And if not, I'm actually going to open up for someone who would like to connect with their guides, and I will open to, because I have the ability and the gift to be able to see your guides, I'll open up to connect with them and see what messages they have for you. So either if you have a question you want to type in the chat box, or you would like to be the person who is going to get a message from your guides through me, and I'll open up, or they might just reveal who they are that they've been wanting to show you. So you can also chat into the type box if you're ready for that. All right, so Alicia is up for that. All right, and I see Melissa is too. So we have, it's going to be, oh, Corinne is too. That's so awesome. Okay, everyone is. So I'm going to do really fast. I'm going to do Corinne first. And if we have more time, then I'll go, because you're the first to type in. So if I have more time, I'll go to the next person. So I'm just going to open to welcome your guides, Corinne. I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly, and see what comes through. And you're actually unmuted right now, so you can speak as well, so we can have this dialogue. And I see that Tiffany's unmuted you. So I'm just going to welcome your guides to reveal to me themselves or anything that they'd like to share with you. And so the first image that I'm seeing is a woman warrior. She's very solid, very strong. I want to say that she's Nordic, but she's not. It's because she's so tall and strong that I think she's Nordic, but she's actually like okay, so she's an Amazon, which is, the women, these powerful women of the jungle, these warriors from ancient times, we've called them Amazons. So she's an Amazon. And her message for you is that you have what it takes. So whatever it is that you're working on or working through right now, I have no idea, or whatever your dream is, that's not for me to know, that's for you to know. But her message is that you have what it takes, and she's here with you. So you can use the gift that you got to call on her, the one you saw in your guided visualization. And you can just ask for, your Amazon guide to come through. I'm trying to get a sense of her name, but I think it starts with a B or an M, but I can't get it clearly. I'm not sure what her name is, but I see her clearly, and so that's your message. Corinne, do you have any response to that? Can we hear you? It might, okay, you got it. If you've come in through the computer, it will be hard. Yeah, okay, you're on the computer, so that's no problem. So if you can type into the chat box, did that resonate with you? Did that make sense? Corinne's typing us a message here. She saw a very large angel. Yeah. So beautiful. Yeah. So they sometimes are guides, and I'm glad you brought that point up. Corinne says, interesting enough, I saw a very large angel during our guided meditation. And so sometimes they show themselves in different forms. That's the best way for us to receive them. Like if we will feel really, open and warm to them if they come as an angel. Maybe for me to get her energy sense clearly, she showed herself as an Amazon warrior. So you can connect to that energy more and more, and you'll see her much more clearly. Okay, so we're going to do one more. I'll do quickly with Alicia, and then actually before I do, I just want to let you know that I have a really great offer that I'm offering today, and I think Tiff's going to put the slide up. But I've opened 10 spots for calls for anyone who wants to, take the driver's seat on your life, start steering in the direction of what you want, so taking charge and saying, this is what I want. So during this hour-long call, we're going to connect to your guides and get messages from them about how to get you where you want to go. So the first part of the call is visioning, and we see what you want to manifest. The next part of the call, I help guide you into what's stuck and blocking you from manifesting what you want to create. And then the third part of the call is we tap into your guides, and of course, as I have more time in that call, I can see more of them and have more time to get messages from them for you to support you in what your next steps are for where you want to go. So in the call, you'll get clear about what you want to create in your life and business for 2015 and gain clarity about who your spirit guides are and receive messages that will give you the next steps that you need for your fulfilling life and whatever the next phase of your journey is. Perhaps you want to get clarity on what the next phase is. So at the end of the call, you'll have a clear sense of direction and know what your next action steps are towards your dreams. And you'll also have established that connection with your team, so you'll know exactly who you're calling on for support. So usually an hour of working with me is $297. So today for the first 10 women, it's going to be 97. Ooh, my video's coming back. You see, the guides are coming. So Tiffany just posted the link in the chat box, so that's where you can register. The first 10 women will get this call for $97, and you'll get a link where you can schedule your call. So now that I've shared my invitation and offer with you, I'll take another 1 minute since we started a few minutes late, and just open up to Alicia's guides. And Alicia's saying me. Maybe she's already signing up for the hour. She's ready for it. But let's see if we can get something of her guides in this last minute of our call. So the guide who presented itself to me is actually Frog. And Frog is bringing a message of cleansing and cleansing your waters, cleansing the waters of your being. So our waters have to do with emotions. And so Frog is bringing a message of cleansing, and I'm just listening. When I stop, I have to stop talking so I can hear clearly. Okay, so the message is there's some things that need to be let go of in order to achieve what you want to achieve moving forward. So it's this message from Frog is about cleansing, cleansing out like old emotions, whether it's forgiveness that has to happen, or whether it's, judgment against self, or whatever it could be, whether it's just old pain from the past, cleansing the emotions that's going to give you the opportunity to fully connect your power to move forward with, I have no idea what it is that you're wanting in your life right now, but this is part of the process. So thank you so much. And Alicia, if that resonates at all, give us a message if you're still here in the chat box. And of course, during an hour-long call, we can go much deeper into this connection with your guides and into the message. So she says, you gave me what I needed to hear. So thank you, Frog, and thank you, guides. So I'm going to, so Alicia asked for the sign to give me the sign of letting go. And that was the sign. So she got what she needed. And that's the beauty of working with our guides. You get that affirmation and that clarity of maybe you have an intuition or you're not sure, and that's how they support us. So thank you to all the guides and guardians, helpers and healers, spirit totem animals, angels and archangels, Mama Earth, Grandfather Sun, Grandmother Moon. Thank you to all the guides who were with us today, supporting us. I encourage you all to take a moment. The full moon is this Saturday. Release, call in your guides and ask them for support to release whatever it is you want to let go of. And as you call them in for support, you have that much more ability to release so that you can move forward with clarity, purpose, and in your power. Thank you, everyone, once again. It's been so wonderful. And, thanks, Melissa says, you are pure light today. You look exceptionally radiant. Yay! If you want to continue this conversation, go to Facebook Manifest Dance, and I'll post a few questions on there. And if you have more to share, you can share it on the Facebook page. And otherwise, schedule your call with me. It's a great deal. $100. You're going to get so much. If you feel drawn, if you feel it in your body, that's the big key. If you feel a yes in your body. If you don't, it's not for you. Thank you, everyone, for taking your time. Sending you so much love. Bye for now.